My name is Kate, as Dr. Howard has already said, and I'm very honored and excited to be here with all of you. Today, I would love to share with you some of the information that I have learned on the research on plant stem cell therapy, otherwise known as general therapy, phytoembryo or simply put, blood therapy, and how they have the potential to change our lives and change your life. So by now, most of us have probably heard of stem cell usage in allopathic medicine, as it's really one of the most popular advances in our current century. However, not a whole lot of us have ever heard of plant stem cells and how they have been used successfully for regenerating organs, bones, tissues within the human body for centuries. Today we're going to explore what plant stem cells are, what they do, how they work, and it's going to be really fun. So, plant buds have been used medicinally dating as far back as the ancient Egyptian times. So why we haven't heard about this? Why haven't we heard about this, right? The revolution, however, of phytoembryo therapy came in the 1950s. So still quite a long time ago from what we have now. Dr. Paul Henry, this handsome man right here, is a renowned Belgian homeopath who became inspired by John Wolfgang and the book The Metamorphosis of the Plant, which conducted research on the therapeutic properties of plant stem cells. In 1970, Dr. Pohl published his clinical findings in the name phytoembryo therapy. So he changed the name. So Rose is a renowned Belgian homeopath, known as the father of phytoembryo therapy, and he has been working to understand plant stem cells since the late 50s and then beyond. Next slide. What are plant stem cells? So plant stem cells are fast-dividing cells that contain the blueprint or the genetic material called the meristem. So the meristem is the stem cell itself. They are undifferentiated, meaning that they have the potential to become anything. What does that mean? It means that it has the potential to become a muscle cell, a fat cell, a bone cell, a blood cell, a nervous cell, an epithelial cell, an immune cell, a sex cell. Anything within the human body it can become. And in doing so, it also, once inside the human body, can stimulate our own production of our own stem cells within us as well. So, how are they made, right? So plant stem cells are made from the young buds and shoots and rootlets from various different plants before the chlorophyll sets in. So as soon as chlorophyll sets in, the embryo is lost because that is the plant blood. So that's why a lot of times it can be hard to get your hands on these things because you have to have the understanding of being able to plant them and harvest them before that chlorophyll sets in, which can be a process. After the chlorophyll sets in, the meristem is gone. And so, again, that is why we have such a problem. But, let me find this, I'm sorry. Okay. So, the embryonical tissues are harvested in the springtime, which is when the components are at the highest level and are the most active in the growth cycle. So, these are primarily the ways that a plant stem cell is extracted. So we have three ways. So first of all, after the stem cell is extracted when it's still in that young bud shoot rootlet, they then bring it into an area where it's a 20-day soaking process. So what happens is the parts of the plant are soaked in equal parts: glycerin, water, and alcohol, each extracting different parts of the stem cell. So water is what Dr. Pohl believed was the most important thing to all stem cells, because it extracts the water-soluble derivatives like the tannins, the minerals, the water-soluble flavonoids, but it also carried the energetic part of the plant, so the more emotional, the more spiritual aspect of the plant as well, which we'll talk about here in just a few minutes. The alcohol, again, extracted only things that could be alcohol soluble. So the alcohol soluble vitamins, minerals, tannins, all of those things. Then the glycerin offered to extract the essential oils of the plant. So along with the fat soluble flavonoids and vitamins and minerals. So within each stem cell, you're getting the whole entire aspect of the plant. So you're getting the meristem, but you're also getting the essential oil quality. You're getting the vitamins and minerals. You're getting the illegal elements. You're getting everything in its whole. Whereas most of the time in naturopathy, we have, here's an herb, here's an essential oil, here's a flower. You get it all in one area. So after they're set in their soaking process, each with the glycerin, the water, and the alcohol, they're soaking in there for 20 days. And then afterwards, they are rotated by hand. So, which is very different from what we usually see. Most of the time, there's machinery involved, and there isn't in plant stem cells. Everything is hand done. And then after the hand done, shaking, rotating, we get the filtration, which is through gravity. So everything is just gravitationally pulled. If we were to use machinery, the stem cells would be gone as well. Which is why they opt out to do things that way. After the process is over, the leftovers are going back to the earth, which is incredible, I think, personally. And so then you're left with the pure plant stem cell. Now again, we've talked about, I kind of spoiled it, right? But because we have the alcohol, the water, and the glycerin, it extracts the spiritual, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual aspect of the plant. Everything. And so I would like to now share with you 3 examples of this. So these are my 3 favorite stem cells, what they can do. And I think that they are the things that are most important in our upcoming time. But also, keep in mind, even though I'm only sharing 3, that there are over 50 stem cells that go and correspond to different parts of the body. So we have fig, for example, that completely regenerates the stomach. Wow. Right? And I'm going to show you 3 of my other favorites. You know. So blackcurrant, this is one of my favorite ones because it's used to increase energy. It helps with any type of itis or inflammation. How many of us have inflammation? How many of us have arthritis? How many of us have any type of itis, right? This is huge. It magnifies all the other stem cells, so you can put different stem cells together, which we'll talk about in a short seconds. It helps with allergies and allergic reaction, especially to venoms, if you all are into that right now. It helps with the adrenals and is an immune tonic, but you do want to take a break from it if you're using it for the adrenals, because it can over-rev the adrenals. Because while it's healing the adrenals, or whatever part has inflammation, there are times where it's like, take a break, take a step back, we're done with this. Emotionally, it helps defend against negative thoughts. So mentally and emotionally, how many of us struggle with that? So you're getting that along with it. And then as far as the spiritual aspect goes, it gives courage to fight for life, and it renews man's will to thrive. Which a lot of people, when they have any type of inflammation or any type of health problem, they lose that part where it's like, I give up, I'm done. So you get that back, which is incredible. The second one, we hear about mistletoe being really good just as an herb for any type of cancers. So as a stem cell, it even takes it a step up from what we usually have. And also, mistletoe is kind of hard to get your hands on as well, so it's kind of a little bit of a stem cell. So it's anti-sclerotic, it helps with cancers of any kind, tumors, cysts, it helps with brain and epilepsies. It's great for the cardiovascular system and kidney hypertension. It gets rid of your buildup, which for people who go through chemo is often something that they'll go through. It's very useful for cancer. And what it does is oftentimes, and maybe this is just my belief, but with cancer treatments, there are times where it's like, I don't know how I can fully help and support you if you do go through chemotherapy. Like, yes, we can do chelation, we can do things and build you up, but there's still that burning from the radiation. And what this offers is it helps to rinse the blood, but it also makes the chemo more potent, the good parts of the chemo, more potent, so you don't have to be on it for as long. Which is magnificent, while also getting all that extra radiation out, getting everything that doesn't belong, all the heavy metals out as well. It's awesome. Spiritually, emotionally, mentally, it helps to wake one up to life when winter has settled in the soul, which most people who have cancer often feel this way. When they are depressed, and can receive no light, and when they lose their purpose in life. So this gives you back that will to thrive, that purpose, and brings warmth and love back into the soul, which is often needed because of people who have cancer. They're like, I don't know anymore. I'm just done. Then finally, ginkgo. It's one of the strongest antioxidants in modern medicine. It's anti-aging. It has authority over the optic nerve. It helps with the brain and neurological system. It helps with psychosomatic disorders. Again, it also helps with inflammation, but those often resulting in Alzheimer's and dementias. It helps the spirit to understand loyalty and to see disloyal people. Interesting, right? It also gives the ability to see people who have no morals. I think we all might not struggle with that so much, but for those who do. But it also protects from negative vibrations, like EMFs and other negative emotions from other people. And this is done through its protection of the brain. Pretty amazing. The ginkgo tree, outside of stem cell research, is actually the only one who's ever been able to survive an atomic bomb, which is why it gets that name of being EMF resistant. Okay. So, one of the frequently asked questions, and I'm sure you all are probably wondering this as well, is plant to human stem cells, how do they transfer within the human body, right? Believe it or not, the plant stem cells actually work better. How many of you ate salad at lunchtime today? How many times have we eaten a vegetable? We're already pre-designed to digest plants. Whereas with a human stem cell, we don't always know where they're coming from. And so there's often a chance for the human body to reject that human stem cell because it doesn't match with us internally, which can then often result in autoimmune disorders or just complete rejection as it is. So plant stem cells do tend to work better. These are some resources that I found most interesting and helpful if you're interested in understanding more about germal therapy or plant stem cells. I know that it's a lot to cover in 15 minutes, and I struggled with that just ever so slightly. Narrow it down, but these are some excellent resources to look at. The best part about plant stem cells, different from human stem cells, is that they're readily available to each and every one of you. You carry them at the Herbs Etc. store. You don't have to go through any type of hoop jumping to get your hands on them. So, my final conclusion, we can truly rebuild and regenerate each and every organ within us and revitalize our bodies. And we have everything that we need at our fingertips, which is incredible. Thank you all very, very much.